Hey, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to do something a little different. It's a video podcast. It'll be on my regular podcast, which is titled Locked Up, The Life of an American Dog. But I figured I'd do a little video as well on this very, very big topic. And that topic is socialization and your dog. So many people, I get calls and I talk with people and they want their dog to socialize. I want my dog to socialize. And these people, it occurs to me, don't even know the meaning of the word socialization. That's number one. Number two, maybe that's they're both number one. Both number one. Number one, they don't know the meaning of the word socialization as they're speaking it. Also number one, they don't even know what they want. But they're saying socialization because that's some buzzword that some other trainer said, or someone on the internet said, or someone said you got to do with your dog and do with your puppy and blah blah blah. And if they're not socialized, that's why they're aggressive, or if they're not socialized, that's why they're reactive, or whatever. Or they're not happy if they're not socialized. What the does socialization mean? Most of the people don't even know. Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary, 11th edition. Let me take you through this. We're gonna look up socialization. Look at it, I already have it bookmarked. So, socialization is a form of the word social. So we're just gonna look up social. I'm gonna read this. Social. It can be defined as involving allies or confederates. Okay, doesn't really apply to dogs so much. They're allies, sure. 2, marked by or passed in pleasant companionship with friends or associates. Oh, all right. Marked by or passed in pleasant companionship with friends or associates. Sounds like dogs. Sounds like what the dogs in my yard are doing right now. They're pleasant companionship with friends and associates. They're not all friends, but they are associates, and they're having pleasant companionship and sharing the space. Relating to or designed for sociability. All right, doesn't really tell us a whole lot about social or socialization. Of or relating to human society, the interaction of the individual and the group, or the welfare of human beings as members of society. So we can extrapolate that to dogs, the interaction of the individual and the group. So the interaction of the individual, your dog, and the group, other dogs, or humans, can be described as social. All right. Tending to form cooperative and interdependent relationships with others. Bingo. Tending to form cooperative and interdependent relationships with others. I like that in terms of dogs. One of my pillars is cooperation. That's the ultimate goal, is to have our dogs be cooperative, not only with us, but with other dogs, other people around them in the world. Of, relating to, or based on rank or status in a particular society. Okay, I really like the tending to form cooperative and interdependent relationships. Interdependent relationships means not independent. It means you don't need anybody. Dependent means you need somebody else. Interdependent means you have some independence to you and some dependency, and everybody works together in a cooperative, interdependent relationship. That's dogs. Hanging out in the yard, interdependent. And we're hanging out. Sometimes they play, sometimes they're in the pool over here, off camera, you can't see. That's social. Socialization can be to make social, to fit or train for a social environment. Let's think about what a social environment might be. A social environment can be your home. A social environment can be out in public, walking around. Your neighborhood can be a social environment. Anywhere there's others, tending to form cooperative and interdependent relationships with others, of or relating to human society, the interaction of the individual and the group, we can call that a social situation. Unless you're by yourself, it's technically a social situation. Unless your dog is by itself, he's in a social situation. Now, so that's social, that's socialization. To adapt to social needs or uses, organized group participation in. Those are all socialization definitions. Okay? So unless your dog's by himself, alone, you're not around, he's in a social situation. Anytime there's others or a group or friends or associates, that's a social situation. So your neighborhood walking by dogs is a social situation. You on a walk by yourself, walking by another human being is a social situation. You see? Now, what word is missing from all of those definitions? Play. Okay? Play is socialization is not play. Okay? Nowhere in that definition is the word play involved. But so many people want their dog. I just want my dog to. I want to be able to have him around dogs and play and have fun. That's not. Then say that. Say that. Don't say socialization, because I work to help your dog become socially competent and socially confident. I don't care if your dog ever plays. I got flies buzzing around me. I don't care if your dog plays. That might not be their personality. Think on that for a second. Your dog might not be the social butterfly and the playful, happy-go-lucky golden doodle that you want so dearly want them to be. I'm sure there's a lot of parents out there that, want their kid to grow up to play in the NFL or the NBA. But maybe the kid just has 2 left feet and isn't coordinated, and maybe he just doesn't enjoy competitive sports. So you're going to force the kid to play football? Some parents do. And that, thank you very much for people that do that with their dogs. That's part of the reason I have a job. And why I am never in danger of running out of clients, because people put their dogs in these high pressure social situations, such as dog parks, such as meeting other dogs on leash when they're out on walks, such as someone that comes up and asks, can I pet your dog? And they say, sure, go ahead, when their dog is clearly saying, I'm not comfortable with the situation. I'm not socially confident. Please don't let that person touch me. But thank you for continuing to do that, people who do that, because it's job security. So thank you for that. Now, back to the definition of social. Play is not is not part of the definition. Let me look up play for you guys real quick so that we know, because I don't think anybody actually uses dictionaries anymore, because so many people don't even know the words that they're saying. They don't even know what they mean. They just hear a word on fucking Instagram or YouTube, and I realize this is on YouTube, but they hear these buzzwords. They hear it on National Geographic channel, and they hear it on this channel and this trainer, and they don't even know what it means. If you don't know what it means, but it sounds cool to you, at least look it the fuck up. Otherwise, you are just a stupid parrot, and you're ignorant, and you're potentially putting your dog in a bad situation. Let's look up play. I'll just do some highlighted notes on play. Play is a very long definition. One definition of play is amorous flirtation. Okay. One definition is absence of serious or harmful intent. So play could simply be the absence of poor intentions, bad intentions, right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dogs in the yard right now. By that definition, the absence of serious or harmful intent, they're playing, even though none of them are what most people would say playing. But according to the definition of play, none of these dogs have serious or harmful intent to each other. They're all kind of doing their own thing. Brisk, fitful, or light movement. Okay, that sounds more like what we want our dogs to do, is run around and play, and frolic is a word that's in here as well. We want them to just bounce around and do the golden doodle lab thing and just run around and zoomies and all these things. Okay, a move or series of moves calculated to arouse friendly feelings. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Hey, you want to play? Dogs play bow, and they do all sorts of body language to get other dogs interested in play. Some dogs don't respond to that. They don't want to play. Some dogs are just going to ignore it. Some dogs are going to say, stop doing it. I don't want to play with you. Okay. To engage in sport or recreation. I I play with my dogs often. We play tug of war, we do the flirt pull, we do weight pull, fetch. We do all sorts of play with my dogs. To move or operate in a lively, irregular, or intermittent manner. To move or function freely within prescribed limits. Okay, to move or operate in a lively, irregular, or intermittent manner. That sounds like play, if you break it down. Nowhere in this definition of play, which is a very long definition, nowhere in this definition is the word socialize or social. Nowhere. No, it's not in there. Okay, why? Because they're not the same thing. Putting your dog in a position where, because you have a desire for them to play, when that's not the dog that you have in front of you, and that's not the dog that you have in your life, can have a lot of fallout for your dog psychologically. Right? I see it all the time. People take their dogs to the dog park. Dog doesn't attack any other dogs. So, okay, that was good. No, just because your dog didn't attack another dog doesn't mean that they had a pleasant experience, right? Maybe the whole time they were in a defensive flight, they're trying to get away, or they're just frozen when dogs approach them, they just freeze. That's not a good time, okay? That's a dog that lacks confidence in a high pressure social situation. We don't need to put them in that situation. We need to find out and find a place where we can help them grow socially, have more confidence, if taking them to the dog park, if having them frolic and move about in a lively, irregular, intermittent manner is something that we desire for them. We need to build up to that. It's not natural, just the same as not every child is going to be as naturally gifted as Michael Jordan. It's just not the way it is. Just everybody has different interests. Every dog has different interests, different strengths, different weaknesses, different things that they enjoy. Dogs are sentient beings. They experience feelings and emotions. There's things they enjoy, there's things they don't enjoy. There's other dogs they enjoy, there's dogs they don't enjoy. Just the same as you. Yet so often I hear you say, well, I just want my dog to get along with every dog, all dogs. That's extremely unrealistic. I had a call yesterday and this lady said to me, well, I just don't want my dog to fight back if a dog comes after him. What? So you just want your dog just to get attacked and you don't want him to fight back. So you want me to make your dog a zombie. Yeah, we're not gonna be a good fit is what I told her. So I just don't want him to fight back. Okay, so you want your dog just to, so what are you gonna do about that? She had no idea because she doesn't know what she wants. You gotta know what you want and know when you say something, know what it means. Know what socialization means, know what it doesn't mean. Know what play means, know what it doesn't mean for your dog's benefit. Just the same as you can walk by 100 people on the street. Are you gonna, there's some, you're just gonna have a weird vibe about that person. You know what, I just kind of don't like that person. Whether they looked odd to you, they smelled different, maybe it was your subconscious speaking to you. You just know, like, yeah, that's not someone I want to talk to. It doesn't make you a bad person, it just makes you human. Dogs, same thing. They just makes them a dog. If they don't want to play with every single dog that they see, that just makes them a normal dog. If they don't want to play with any dogs, it's still a normal dog. Now, just like the dogs in my yard, I have one laying down over here by herself in the shade. I got a couple behind me interacting a little bit. I got one over there just hanging out. If they want to interact, they can. If they don't want to, that's fine as well. What I expect and what I teach for their benefit is just be comfortable doing you around other dogs. You don't need to be reactive. You don't need to run away. You don't need to act aggressively or defensively. You can just be comfortable and feel safe in the presence of other dogs and other humans. That's socializing. You don't need to always be playing. Playing can be a type of socialization. So can sitting down on the patio. So can working on place in the house if you have multiple dog household. So can going on walks with one dog and yourself as a human, or yourself and two other dogs. So can walking by other dogs. Those are all social situations and social interactions. It's important not that our dogs are neutral to those situations. It's important that we teach them and we can guide them through those situations, that we are driving the car, not them. We guide them through these situations. I don't want a dog in neutral. That's just, maybe their head's just hung. There's just no reaction at all. Nothing's engaged. If a car's in neutral, nothing's engaged. The engine is not engaged with the transmission and the drivetrain. I want engagement. I just want the type of engagement and teach the type of engagement that I want in these situations. That engagement is not to be defensive and reactive. That engagement is not to be defensive and try to run away. It's just, hey, be with me. Brian Agnew would call that pack drive. I call it pack drive. Everybody calls it pack drive. Be with me, whether you're using a treat to have them look at you or let's go and you just practice, because dogs have an innate desire to follow us and be in pack drive. That's in them. It's an instinct. And I don't want them in prey drive, but I don't want them in neutral. I want to drive their drives. Okay? So socialization versus play. Understand what you want so that your dog can grow. And so you're not putting your dog in situations that, number one, they're not ready for. Number one, they're not confident enough to be in. Number one, you don't know why or what. A lot of times I talk with people, why do you take them to dog? Well, I don't know. I guess that's just how you're supposed to socialize them. Oh my gosh. Dog parks, the best thing about a dog park, I actually like dog parks. The best thing about a dog park, job security for me, because dogs go there and have a trauma experience, and guess what? I gotta come in and help fix it, because then they get to, through training and through structure and building the dog up, and then they get to come to my social day and learn good social skills around balanced dogs. So it's job security. So keep taking your dog to the dog park because you think that they have to be around dogs. They have to do it. They don't. There's nothing in here that says humans need to be around other humans. They need to play with other humans. It's just a social interaction could just be going out your front door. Going to the grocery store is a social interaction. Okay, you don't need to live with other humans to be social. You don't need to talk with other humans to even be social. Dogs don't need to be. They don't ever even need to be off leash around other dogs to be socially balanced and socially confident. Let me say that again. Your dog does not ever need to be off leash with other dogs to be socially confident, to learn good social skills, or to be balanced. He doesn't. He doesn't. In fact, in my experience, there's no correlation to how a dog behaves on leash around other dogs and people to how a dog behaves off leash. Let me say that again. In my experience, there's zero correlation between how a dog interacts socially on a leash versus how they interact socially off leash. None. You take the most reactive dog on leash and they are a social butterfly off leash in a yard with dogs. Okay? So, food for thought. Think about what you want for your dogs. Think about why socialization is so important to you, because most of it has to do with it's important to you. You want your dog to play. You want your dog to be happy. You think that if they're not playing with other dogs, they must be miserable. Because you see all these dogs on TV frolicking and playing, and that might not be the dog you have. Accept that. That might not take the dog that you have in front of you. That might not be the dog you have. So to force the issue and force that dog into a situation that doesn't match with who they are, what their personality is, what their level of knowledge and confidence and skill is, is dangerous. It's not fair, and it can have a lot of fallout. That said, it's job security for me and for many, many trainers out there. So do a little bit better by your dogs. People don't need to pet your dog when you go out in public for them to be social and happy. Matter of fact, saying no can be the most powerful thing you can do for your dog. Someone walking their dog up to you, can you say hi? No. And move your dog away. Step in front of your dog. Take the advanced position. Advocate for your dog. That's body language. Step in front. If you had a little child and there was a big dog off leash approaching them, you would step in front of your child or pick them up, but you would do something to protect them. If someone was walking towards your child and reaching for them, you would step in front and say, excuse me. But we don't do that for our dogs. We need to do that for our dogs. You need to do that for your dog. Someone's approaching, take the advanced position and tell them, you know what, we're out training today. She's learning some social skills. Maybe next time. Thank you. I don't let dogs meet on leash either. That's just asking for a problem. It's just a complete cluster. You don't know what you're doing. The other person doesn't know what they're doing. You're a little worried about your dog or their dog. They're worried about your dog or their own dog. Everybody's worried and there's pressure on the leash and tension, and it's just a show. I don't ever allow dogs to meet on leash. So if someone wants to meet your dog on leash, tell them no. No, we don't do on leash meetings. Okay, if someone can't respect your no, that's a pretty good indicator you don't want them interacting with your dog anyway. At least me. If I tell someone no and they give me attitude, like I should have, like they're somehow entitled to meet my dog or to pet my dog or have their dog meet my dog, that's all the confirmation I needed that that's not someone I want interacting with my dog. Someone that has no respect for me. And a simple no, not today, thank you. So, socialization, play, they're not the same thing. Neither word is in the other word's definition. You can look it up. Merriam-Webster's College Dictionary, 11th edition. Yes, I like dictionaries. I'm a wordsmith. I read the dictionary. I write down definitions. So everybody would do better, I think, in today's society if we did read the dictionary. We looked up maybe one word a day, because quite frankly, most people's vocabulary sucks. And if they have vocabulary, they don't half the time know what the words that they're using actually mean. So if that's the case, that's a communication thing. If you're saying things that you don't even know what they mean, how do you think you're going to be able to communicate with your dog? Put that together on why you're struggling with your dog. You don't even know some of the words you're saying, let alone you're trying to communicate and get a certain thing with your dog and create something there. So thank you for tuning in. I don't know what podcast episode this is, but my book is coming out here at the end of the year, Locked Up, The Life of an American Dog. It's going to be very compelling, revolutionary type of book. So look for it at the end of this year. Thank you for tuning in. If you got questions, email me, drop something in the comments, like, subscribe, do all that crap that everybody does, whatever. And don't put your dogs in social situations they're not ready for just because you have a desire to do it yourself. That is projection. Just because you couldn't be the beauty pageant winner, don't throw your child in beauty pageants.